So good morning everyone. My name is Lalit Soni and I am back here with this live session by Drishti IAS. So let's take a look at the Indian Express today. As usual, we'll be going forward with the front page and then we'll go to the our questions which was given to you for a practice, and then we'll take up these articles. So today we'll be discussing India's AI mission, why it is in news. In the past month, PM Modi has announced this mission. So now we will be having a look at like what are the specifics of this particular, or you can say what are the goals of this mission. Okay, then Trump disqualified. Using the 14th Amendment of US Constitution, Colorado court has given this verdict wherein Trump has been disqualified in the 2024 elections in November. Okay, so we'll have a look at the 14th Amendment. What does it say? Then Lok Sabha not for the new criminal laws. Okay, in this session, new criminal laws has been passed by Lok Sabha. We'll have a look at it again. We have discussed it in the past as well, but we will go through it once more. Then what is greenwashing? Various airlines has been accused of using this greenwashing or going for misleading advertisements. So that is under that is what is green washing. So we'll talk about that whenever there is a misleading information related to environment. Okay, so that is what considered as greenwashing. We'll discuss it in detail. Then we'll have a look at the world affairs. Then there is one article for your read that is also from your telegram bills or telecom bills, which has been in news. It is given by the, let's say, in the parliamentary debates they have discussed it. So you can have a better idea because that answers has been given by the members of the parliament. So that is why you can have a read at it. Okay. Then we will go for the practice questions and then we will wrap up the session as usual. Now here you can see this is the front page of our newspaper. If any information given, we'll look into it. PM response to US claim. So basically, in talk with the newspapers, PM has said that if there is any kind of information on that Panno case, if there is any kind of information given, we will have a look at it. Okay. Other than that, he have talked about the multilateral system where everyone is codependent on each other, and these small issues cannot impact the broader US-India ties. Okay, so we'll talk about that. Then 3 bills on new criminal law, as I told you, we'll discuss it in detail. Then big AI push. Here we will talk about the AI mission. Okay, so that is from your front news. We will cover these 3 news. Okay. Now the question which was given to you was, which of the following countries does not border the Red Sea? Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Somalia and Jordan. Here you can see this is your Red Sea. Okay, and these parts are also extended parts of Red Sea only. Okay, so here you can say there is a small boundary which has been shared by Jordan. Okay, then there is this Egypt's Sinai Peninsula. Here we have Israel. So you can say there is Israel, Jordan, Egypt. From this side, Saudi Arabia, Yemen. Here in African continent you can say Sudan, Eritrea and Djibouti. These are the countries which borders Red Sea here. Okay, when we are talking about Somalia, Somalia is there in Gulf of Aqaba somewhere here. Okay, so this particular strait, we can say the Strait of or Bab al Mandab we call it. So this particular strait kind of separate Red Sea and the Gulf of Aqaba. That is why we are saying that Somalia is not having a border with Red Sea. Okay. Now, if there is a option which says that Somalia is also a country which has the border with Red Sea, that is because it can be extended further. But the thing is, we have to go for the most appropriate answers from this, and here all countries like Egypt, Saudi Arabia and Jordan has a visible boundary with Red Sea. So that is why Somalia would be our answer here. Okay. Now moving further to our article of the day, that is big AI push, center steps up to compute capacity, offer free services at startup. Okay. Now we are we are in the generation where there is a AI boom, we can say, and we cannot be left behind. When we are talking about technological developments, etc., India has done good. When we are talking about space research, etc., or the emerging technology, India is doing fairly well. Now when we are talking about this AI generation or AI push, India cannot be lagged behind, and that is why PM has announced this AI mission, wherein will be going for the building of computing capacity. Okay, this computing capacity takes a lot of investment, so the small startups etc. cannot invest that amount of money. That is why government has stepped up and they have said that we will create that computing capacity and we will rent it to you, or you can utilize those services for the nominal charges. Okay, so now to boost the startups ecosystem as well as to boost the AI ecosystem, we are going for AI mission. Okay, so let's have a look. Artificial intelligence mission to develop its own sovereign AI. The center is looking to build computational capacity or computing capacity in the country, offers compute as a service to Indian startups. Okay, so here we will develop the computing capacity and then we will offer services to the Indian startups. Okay, the capacity building will be both within the government as well as the public private partnership. Okay, because it requires huge number of huge amount of investment. That is why we are going for two models, that is one through PPP and then second is through government PSUs. Okay, we have CDAC, that is Center for Development of Advanced Computing. Okay, so this through PPP model we will be generating a capacity of around 10,000 to 30,000 GPU. This GPU is basically your graphics processing unit. Okay, so this is the measurement of your computing capacity as of now. So 10,000 to 30,000 GPU will be generating from PPP model, and from this PSU model will be generating 1,000 to 2,000 GPUs. Okay, now once this capacity is generated, we will lend it to the startups so that our startup ecosystem can boost as well. Okay, now here to reap the dividends of the impending AI boom, which is envisioned to be a crucial economic driver. Obviously, when we are supporting it for the startups are basically for either for the services or for the manufacturing, and ultimately that will help in enhancing the GDP of the country. Okay, so that will be a economic driver in the future. Given the artificial intelligence is seen as a crucial economic driver in the years to come, the government plans to substantially beef up the country's computing capacity. To expedite such additions, the government plans to invite private sector by offering incentives. Okay, now as I told you, we will be going for the total capacity of 10,000 to 30,000 GPU in the PPP model and then 1,000 to 2,000 GPU in the PSU model. Okay, why we are using this target? Because in recent AI tool, that is ChatGPT, which is been generated by Microsoft, and this has a processing power of, let's say, 10,000 GPU involving other things. Okay, so now this is for your ChatGPT which is existing. So we have this target that we will start from this and we will move towards having a buffer of 20,000 GPUs, that is will go for 30,000 as a aspirational target. Okay, so that is why we have taken that. Other than that, in this article there are mention of two computing systems, or you can say two tools, that is one is Rudra. So Rudra is an indigenous server platform, okay, which is developed by CDAC, and then there is this Param Utkarsh. This Param Utkarsh is high performing computer system. Okay, earlier when we used to have supercomputers, and now we are calling them as high performing computing systems. Okay, so India has Rudra and Param Utkarsh as high performing computing systems set up by the CDAC. Okay, offers AI over machine learning and deep learning frameworks, compute and store as a cloud services. Okay, so it is been used as a data storage, for a data storage as well as for the computing. Computing capacity or the compute is the most important element of building a large AI ecosystem. Okay, and it involves a huge number of data sets. The most difficult element to procure for smaller business, as I told you, it will involve a huge number of investment. Okay, the government's idea is to create the digital infrastructure DPI out of GPU assembly. It's set so that the startup can utilize it computational capacity for a fraction of cost. So basically, government will generate the capacity and it will rent it to startups. apart from building computing capacities, the government is also working on building databases. Okay, so these data sets or database which we are talking about, this is basically works as the input for this AI tools. Okay, this machine learning etc. are basically works on the data which has been provided to them, and based on that they will give you your output. Okay, so that is why huge number of data will be requiring, and whatever data which is with the government, they will share the non-personal data. Here they have taken care of the privacy of the individual. They will give you the non-personal data. That non-personal data will be utilized as the input for this computing systems. Okay, and there are also there are news that government is kind of asking all the big giants like Facebook, Google etc. to provide the non-personal data of their users. Okay, so this is how they will generate a computing capacity, and then they will rent it to startups so that startup ecosystem can boost. Okay, so as of now this is the plan for AI. Okay, they have given the general goals and aspirations, not the specifics, but for now you have to remember all these things, that we are targeting a computing capacity or of 10,000 to 30,000 GPU in PPP and 1,000 to 2,000 in PSU capacity. Okay, so that is about this article. You have to remember these two names, that is Rudra and Param Utkarsh. These are high performing computing systems in India. Okay, which has been generated by the CDAC, which is Center for Development of Advancing Computing in India. Okay, so that is about this article. Now moving further, we will start. Before that, as I told you, the AI ecosystem is on boost. It will guide the economy in the future. So there has been some kind of reports, and they have said that 82% people worry that there will be job redundancy, they will lose their jobs. Okay, on the same at the same time 83% people also feel upskilling, particularly in AI, will enhance their job opportunities. Okay, so if you are now investing in skill development related to AI, okay, so there are chances that you will be getting a job easily, or you will get more job opportunities. It is said that 75% of the women who upskilled their capacities with AI, they are saying that they found it easier to get a job after a break. Okay, so that is a good thing, you can say. So AI has its pro and cons. Okay, but if you are going ahead with it, you are kind of scaling up your scalings with that, then it will be a pro for you. Okay, otherwise there are chances that you might lose your job as well. Okay, so now this is about AI, and this is not what I am saying. This is a study which is saying which is given in the Indian Express today. So second article is from your Indian Express, which says that defining terror to death for lynching, Lok Sabha notes for 3 bills on new criminal laws. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, so they are saying that they have reformed the criminal justice system, or you can say criminal laws which were enforced in India. They are anarchic, like they have their origin in the British era, they are colonial in nature, and now the current government is trying to reform that and make them Indianized. Here you can see they have defined terror. Okay, so earlier we had definition of terrorism etc., but they have special acts for it. Okay, now they have defined all these activities like terrorism, organized crime etc. in the code itself. Okay, so defining terror to death for lynching. So basically we did not have any kind of penal provision for the mob lynching. Now they have included that as well. Lok Sabha notes for the 3 bills in the new criminal era. Expanding detention in the police custody from current 15 days limit to 19 days. They have extended the police custody timeline for 90 days. Bringing terror, corruption and organized crime under ordinary legislation for the first time. So this is a step forward. When we are talking about this particular issue, that 15 days to 90 days, they have increased the police custody time. That is good in a way that for the investigation it is necessary maybe, but the thing is there are human right related concerns as well, because our police, the perspective of the people regarding our police is that police has this notorious element wherein they might go for the violation of human rights. Okay, that is why that can be a cause of concern, but with proper framework and with proper safeguards, that can be avoided. Okay, so that is one thing. For that you can go for trainings, or you can go for some kind of psychological counseling, etc., for the people who are in the services. Okay, so to generate empathy, etc. So that is another thing, but this is what they have changed now, that is 15 days to 90 days, and now they have increased, they have included definition of terrorism, organized crime, etc., in the Sanhita itself. Okay, now they have criminalized, they have decriminalized the homosexuality, adultery, and they have said that they have removed the provision of sedition. Okay, but if you are looking at the fine print, you will realize that they have changed the name from your Rajdroh to Deshdroh. Okay, so that is one thing. Now the fine print, however, shows that the offence of sedition, currently rendered inoperable by the Supreme Court order, has had a name change from Rajdroh to Deshdroh. We have seen that. Now let's have a closer look at these bills. Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. Okay, it will replace the Indian Penal Code, okay, which was enforced from 1860. Okay, so we can say that it has colonial origin. Then Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita. Okay, it will replace the CRPC. Here you can see there is you can say that they are trying to change the norm as well. They have used the word Nyaya in place of Dand. Okay, Bharatiya Dand Sanhita, that is Indian Penal Code, that has been renamed as Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. Okay, so they are trying to change the norm or the way or the perspective we look at these codes. Okay, then Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, which will replace the CRPC, okay, Criminal Procedure Code. Then Bharatiya Sakshya Bill, that will be replacing the Indian Evidence Act 1872. Okay, all these acts are from the later 19th century. So now it is necessary for us to reform all these acts, okay, according to the today's requirements. Okay. Now, what are the changes which has been proposed in the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita Bill 2023? The bill defines and includes the terrorism and offences such as separatism, armed rebellion against the government, challenging sovereignty of country, and other than that organized crimes. They have included all these criminal crimes in this particular provision of the bill, and earlier they used to have separate bills for that. Okay, so that is, you can say, they have simplified the procedure. Then it repeals the offence of sedition, which was widely criticized as a colonial relic that curbs the free speech and dissent. Okay, so there are some people who are saying that they have just changed the name. Okay, they are concerned regarding that, but we will not go into it. Our Home Ministry is saying that they have removed the offence of sedition. Now in place of Rajdroh, we have this Deshdroh. So any crime which is against the interest of the country, that is sovereignty, integrity of the country, that will still be penalized. Okay. Now it prescribes capital punishment as the maximum sentence for mob lynching. Okay, earlier we did not have any kind of such provision. They have included that. Even now mob lynching will be penalized, which has been mentioned in the recent years. Okay, the bill introduced community services as form of punishment. Community services means some kind of service which court will advise you to do or order you to do in the interest of the society. This is for the crimes which are having a lesser degree of culpability. That is why they are going for the community services. Okay, this is the concept which has been taken from the Western countries. Okay, in India we did not have it. Okay, so bill introduced community service as a form of punishment for specific crimes which help in reforming offenders. The aim of the justice should be to reform the offender, not to punish. Okay, so but in today's scenario we cannot go for this only. So that is why for the heinous crimes we should have that penal element added to it. But as of now, when we are talking about the crimes which have lesser degree of culpability, where there we can go for reforming the offenders by using community services. Okay, and reducing overcrowding in the prison. Obviously, if you are going for some mere crimes which are having lesser degree of culpability, and you are punishing them with this community service and not sending them to jail, so the occupancy of the jail will reduce. Okay, so that is also a problem in India, that there is a huge number of under trial people which are in the jail. Okay, so jails are kind of overcrowded, so that also addresses that issue. Okay, The bill fixes a maximum limit of 180 days for filing to file a charge sheet, which can speed up the trial processes. Okay, they have fixed a timeline that in 180 days you have to submit a charge sheet. Okay, so that is another positive direction. Then when we are talking about Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, here it promotes the use of technology for the trials. Okay, there are sometimes till now there are some elements like you cannot go forward with the trial if the party is not present there. Okay, other than that there were some restrictions. Okay, that can be removed by the use of technology. They can allow video conferencing for processing. Okay, that is one thing. The bill makes video recording of the statement of survivor of sexual violence compulsorily, which can help preserving the evidence and preventing coercion or manipulation. Okay, that is also a step in positive direction. Other than that, it allows absconding criminals to be tried in absentia by the court. Okay, if some criminal or let's say some fugitive they leave the country because of their trial, so in that case also now country can go further with the trials. They can even punish those people. Okay, so that is one step which can actually deter fugitive from escaping the justice. Okay, so there are various cases like that Vijay Mallya case and then Nirav Modi case. These all economic offenders has left the country, because of which their trial could not proceed, and that is why this element has been added in the Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita. Okay, mercy petition in the death sentence is to be filed within 30 days to the governor and 60 days to the president. Okay, so you can file these mercy petitions within 30 to 60 days, and then whatever decision is there of president, that cannot be go for any kind of appeal. Okay, so that are the changes in the Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita. When we are talking about the issues in our criminal justice system which are persistent as of now, we can say here that pendency of cases is there. Okay, according to National Judicial Data Grid. Okay, so using such kind of reliable data in your mains answer writing will help you score some extra marks. So that is why some elements or some facts from our session you can extract. Okay, now that the thing is, such facts do not change in months or years. So that is why you can just remember that National Judicial Data Grid, there are over 4.7 crore cases pending in the Indian courts. Okay, so that is the level of pendency we have. And why is that? It is because of the lack of resources and the infrastructure. We don't have adequate funding, we have shortage of judges, there are vacancies. Okay, then prosecutors, police personnel, forensic experts and legal lawyers. Because of all these shortage of the people or the personnel in the judicial system, we have this pendency. So the lack of resources and infrastructure also becomes a part of the problem. Okay, then because of the lack of personnel, we have this poor quality of investigation and prosecution. Okay, there are many a time court has to order re-investigation because of such issues. Okay, now human rights violation, as I told you that they have increased the custody time in the police custody time from 15 days to 90 days, but there is this issue of human right violations, that custodial torture are there, extrajudicial killings are there, false arrest, illegal detentions, coerced confessions, unfair trials, harsh punishment. These are actually prevalent in our criminal justice system. Okay, so that is one issue. Outdated laws and procedure, as I told you, these all laws are from the later 19th century. Okay, and when we are talking about today's requirement, they are not complacent or you can say competent to have a strong criminal justice system as of now. So that is why we have to reform all these laws. They do not address the new form of crime such as cyber crime, terrorism, organized crime, mob lynching, etc. Okay, so these are the changes which are required in our criminal justice system, and the bills which has come now somehow address some of these things, like pendency of cases can be addressed by the video conferencing, because if the client is, or let's say party is not available, because of that pendency increases. Okay, then we have seen that in case of economic offenders which leave the country or for escaping the justice, we can actually work on that issue as well with the help of these bills. So that is why we can say that there are some provisions which are a step in positive direction. Okay, now we will see some committees. These committees can be important for your answer writing, because these are the committees which has given recommendation to reform the criminal justice system in India. I cannot take all those recommendations here, but if you have time, you can go and search on internet, okay, or some find some 2-3 suggestions from each committee. So there is Vohra committee, Malimath committee, Madhav Menon committee, Supreme Court's direction on the police reforms. Okay, so these things you can mention in your answer writing. It will fetch you some extra marks. Okay, now moving further for the next article. Okay, on the alleged plot against the Panno flags rule of law, we'll talk about that. Okay, so if any information given, we'll have a look at it. The PM says that we are following the rule of law. If any person of Indian origin has done any kind of crime, okay, or good or bad thing, we will look into it. Okay, so that is one kind of reassurance that PM Modi has given, while underlining that his government is committed to the rule of law. Has said that if an Indian citizen has done anything good or bad, the government is ready to look into it. Okay, any important they have said that if there is any important input, we will work on that. Here, if someone gives us any information, we would definitely look into it. If a citizen of ours has done anything good or bad, we will ready to look into it. Our commitment is to the rule of law. Okay. Other than that, he has said that there is a strong bipartisan support of strengthening this relation. Bipartisan support means that both the parties have the support. When we are talking about USA, there are two prominent parties in their political system, and both of them support ties with India. Okay, so that is there. There is a strong bipartisan support for the strengthening of this relation, which is a clear indicator of a mature and stable partnership. Security and counter-terrorism cooperation has been a key component in our partnership. Okay, so I don't think it is appropriate to link a few incidents with a diplomatic relation between two countries. They are saying that incident like this, which has been done by one or two individuals, cannot be the basis of judging the diplomatic relations between two countries. Okay, so that is one thing. Other than that, he has said that we need to accept the fact that we are living in an era of multilateralism. Okay, the world is interconnected as well as interdependent. This reality compels us to recognize the absolute agreement on all matters cannot be prerequisite for the collaboration. Okay, so it is he is saying that it is not necessary that we will agree on everything. Basically, the question was related to Ukraine war and our perspective with respect to Russia. Okay, and on the other hand, our perspective with respect to Israel. So our Prime Minister is saying that we cannot agree on everything. Okay, we have our own interest to serve. So that is why we are living in a multilateral world which is codependent on each other, but we cannot agree on everything. Okay. Now, moving further, elimination of child labor distance goal need uniform definition of child first. Okay. So here there is a parliamentary panel which has given report that there are certain inconsistencies in our legal system, wherein some laws say that the definition of child is different and other laws are saying a different definition of child. That is one thing. There are concerns related to the age of child in various legislation. So here committee is saying that to first, if when we are going to talk about elimination of child labor, we have to come up with the one definition so that discrepancies or you can say contradiction in the law can be removed. That is one thing. Other than we have commitment under SDG goal, that is 8.7, which talk about elimination of child labor. Okay, and they have given timeline of 2025. Okay, so this is SDG goal. We have commitment under that, and we are working towards it. Here, let's see. The implementation of the policy to eliminate child labor has a long way to go, and before achieving its ultimate goal by 2025, the country needs a uniform definition of child under various laws. Here they are saying that in the Child and Adolescent Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act, this is a act. Okay, in this act, we are saying that child labor is a cognizable offence. Okay, that is one thing. Okay, and then when we are talking about Juvenile Justice Act, in that sense we are saying that it is a non-cognizable offence. So one thing is clear that there are contravention in the legal system, in the laws. Okay, first we have to remove these contraventions. Okay, we have to decide that what is the definition of child, and then what kind of what is the nature of the crime when someone is going for the child labor. Okay, second thing. Third things, there are discrepancies in the criteria of determination of age. Okay, there are some laws which says that 16 years, some says 14 years, then 18 years. So we have to decide what is the definition of child, okay, when we are dealing with the labor laws. Okay, then there is this act, as I told you, that is the Child and Adolescent Labor Act. That said, examine with a view to ensure that these do not lead to any ambiguity as well as delay in the justice to the aggrieved children. Okay, when there is discrepancies in the laws, so interpretation of laws become difficult at that particular point of time. It can result into delay, okay, delay of the justice. So ultimately that harms the welfare of the child. Okay, that is why we are saying that we have to first go for the concrete definition of child. We have to decide that what is the definition, and we have to remove these discrepancies and the contravention in the laws. Okay, now the panel is recommending that you have to increase the amount of fine. Okay, when someone is going for the child labor, first you can increase the fine to deter such activities, and cancellation of the license of the business they are doing, okay, and attachment of the properties. All these things can be done. Ultimately the panel is saying that you have to go for a stringent penal provisions. Okay, then responsibility of reporting children selling goods or begging at the traffic signal or traffic light be assigned to the traffic police, and they are supposed to be held responsible. Okay, so they are saying that this responsibility is on the traffic police, so that they can see that there are some people who are going for the beggings, there are some children who are going for the begging, so they have to report such incidents. Okay, and they have to be made accountable in that regard. Okay, so here target stipulated in the Sustainable Development Goal 8.7 to end all form of child labor by 2025. Okay, so we have discussed this article. Here this information is important, that is Sustainable Development Goal 8.7 and the target which is 2025. Okay, now moving further, here setting an example. When we are talking about women empowerment, we mostly talk about the famous examples like Indira Gandhi or Sarojini Naidu. All these examples which we have read from the history, which has been in the dialect. Okay, so that is why we remember all those examples, but everyone will be writing those examples. So if you want to fetch some extra marks, so you have to remember some example from the current scenario or from the news. Okay, so here this person Mohini Giri or Dr. V. Mohini Giri, an icon of women's right movement, dies at 86. So generally we do not attach any kind of significance to such articles, but these articles can be used for your examples. Okay, here we can see that renowned women's right activist Dr. V. Mohini Giri dies. Okay, she was the former chair of the National Commission for Women. Okay, that is one thing. Other than that, she is also chair in the Central Social Welfare Board. Okay, she has advocated for the women's right, children's right, for the education, employment and the financial security. She has been an icon of the women's movement with her strong advocacy for the gender just world. Okay, so she can be a great example for women's right protection and the empowerment of the woman, Miss Dr. V. Mohini Giri. Okay, in history also we mostly talk about when we are talking about the empowerment or the role of women in the independence struggles, etc. Other than that, when we are talking about the ancient and the medieval past, we don't know such various names which has contributed significantly. Okay, we know Rani Lakshmibai, she has fought for her rights, or she has fought against the British Empire, but we don't know the name of Karpuri Devi. She is the mother of Prithviraj Chauhan. Prithviraj Chauhan was merely 14 years of age when he was ascended to the throne. So she has to take care of the empire or the Delhi at that particular point of time. So she has a significant, we can say she was a significant strategist of the time. Okay, she can be a good example of women empowerment. Okay, so all such examples which has not been in the discourse, we have to make sure they come forward. We use those examples. Okay, we can fetch extra marks. Okay, moving further. World affairs. Trump disqualified what is the US Constitution's 14th Amendment. Okay, so he was running for the second term, and the Colorado court has given that a ruling according to this 14th Amendment. They have said that Trump has that role in January 6, 2021 attacks on the US Capitol, and because of which he cannot, he is not qualified to become or participate in the elections. Okay, So that is why here you can see what is this law which disqualifies him, that is US Constitution's 14th Amendment Act. Okay. So here you can see Section 3 of the 14th Amendment say that no person shall be a senator or representative in the Congress or elector of the president or vice president, or hold any office civil or military under the United States or any state who having previously taken oath as a member of Congress or an officer, or let's say any dignitary or having a government office at that particular point of time, he has taken the oath to support the Constitution of the United States, shall has engaged in any kind of rebellion against the same. Okay. So basically what they are saying is that if a government official who has been part of government and then he has gone against the government and did something which is harming or against the Constitution of USA, that person cannot be eligible for elections. Okay. So here it says that if a person previously elected to any government office took part in rebellion, they cannot hold office again. Okay. Considering that, the Colorado court has given this particular verdict wherein they have disqualified the US former US president Mr. Trump, and he cannot go for the elections with respect to that particular state. Okay. So here when we are talking about what are the impact, so ultimately this state has this or the constituency is not in favor of Mr. Trump even earlier, because he is from the party which is not in power here. Okay. So ultimately it will not hurt his interest in this particular state. Okay. But the thing is that this verdict can lead to some kind of future course of action in United States as well. So that is why we have to just discuss this 14th Amendment Act which we have discussed. Okay. Now moving further, greenwashing. So this term has been in news because several airlines are under fire for false advertisement and has been accused of greenwashing. So let's say some airline is going for some kind of advertisement which is saying that they are committed to protecting the environment. Okay. They are saying that they are committed to protecting the environment, and the activities they are doing are not in line of that. Okay. So when we are talking about airline industry, that cannot be said that they are fully green, or because they are having an impact on the environment. Aviation industry is responsible for approximate 2.5% of all anthropogenic carbon dioxide emissions. Okay. So we are talking about anthropogenic activities. Okay. So 2.5%, which is which seems a smaller amount, but ultimately when we are looking at the quantum of the CO2 we are generating, this is quite huge. Okay. This may seem like a modest contribution, but it is set to grow very fast. Okay. So various airlines are going for advertisement like that fly responsibility, committed to protecting the environment, travel better and the sustainably, fly more sustainably, total peace for mind. All these things they have been using their taglines, but now some environmentalists are saying that this industry per se is not free from any kind of emission, or it is not green. So that is why they are going for misrepresentation or the misleading the consumers. Okay. So such activities are called greenwashing. Here misleading consumer regarding the environmental impact of the air travel. Okay. False advertisement about their sustainability efforts has been accused of greenwashing. Okay. What is greenwashing? When a firm or government gives a false impression that their product or activities are climate friendly or help in reducing the emissions. So here important the term is false impression. Okay. When a company highlights the sustainable aspect of the product to overshadow the its environment damaging activities. One thing is either they are going for the this false impression, or they are trying to hide their other activities in the face of this highlighting the sustainability which they are being promoting. Okay. So if a country is saying that we are going for all these sustainable activities, but in behind the curtains they are going for emissions, that is basically your greenwashing. Okay. So this term can be directly asked in your examination, so you can remember that. Okay. Now moving further, global crude flows via Suez Canal fall, and oil shipments to India not impacted so far. So we have discussed this article yesterday, but I have taken this article because they have said that India's trade or India's imports are not being impacted because we are using the different route. Okay, so that is one thing. Here you can see avoiding transiting through the Suez Canal, as I told you, because of these Houthi rebels, which has been kind of active in this region from Yemen, and they are trying to attack on the shipments which have been passing through this area, because of which there has been some concern. A big companies like shipment companies has gone for rerouting their course, okay, and it has increased the import cost, etc. We have discussed all these things yesterday, okay, and it has been resulted into decline by 50% in the December from the regular levels, okay. Now when we are talking about the oil shipments to India, it has not been impacted because bulk of the country's West Asian crude oil imports do not take through this route, okay. Tankers carrying Russian oils are also not being impacted, okay. So India's, when we are talking about India, we are not using that route, we are using the Strait of Hormuz, okay. So that is one thing. Other than that, Bab al Mandab Strait, which leads to the Red Sea and Suez Canal, forming a shortest albeit narrow route to the Mediterranean Sea, is beyond the Arab Peninsula, Northeast Africa and Arabian Sea. It is important for the global good and energy supplies, okay. Most of India's oil comes from West Asian suppliers. Iraq, Saudi Arabia and UAE comes through the Strait of Hormuz, okay. As I told you, we are not using that route, that is why our supplies has not been impacted that much, okay. It connects the Persian Gulf with the Gulf of Oman and Arabian Sea. India, however, does depends on the Suez Canal for our imports from the Russia, okay. So now here you can see this is the map. What we are doing is we are importing oil from this area, okay. So most of the time this particular strait is being used, that is Hormuz, okay. So that is why whatever events are happening here are not cause of concern for us, or it did not impact India in a much higher way when we are talking about the trade with the other countries. But the thing is, for the Russian oil imports, we are dependent on this route, okay. So as of now our import has not been impacted much, okay, because we are using Strait of Hormuz, okay. So that is about this thing. We have discussed this particular area where Jordan also formed boundary with the Red Sea, okay, remember that point. Now moving further, talk to avoid US that delays the UNSC votes. As I told you that this vote on the resolution which has been drafted by Arab countries, that was supposed to be held on Monday, but there are some kind of struggle between the Arab nations or UAE and America, which are not coming on the terms with the language of the draft, and that is why there is this delay. They are delaying it because it won't be fruitful if USA is vetoing it. So they are going for the dialogue and trying to come up with the settlement, okay. That is why they are delaying it. The specific date is not mentioned that when would be this vote conducted, but as of now it has been delayed again, okay. So now for your read, this article has been kept for your read, that is Lok Sabha approves telecom bill. In this bill they have given some details, okay. So you can ultimately go and read all these things, that there is the license reform which has whittled down the requirement of just one license. From there were originally there were some 90 to 100 requirements, but now they have come up with just one. 4-tier dispute resolution mechanism is there. Cyber security related issues have been tackled in this particular bill, and then interception, when we are talking about the national security, interception is allowed, okay, but there has been some safeguards. So all these things has been discussed in this particular article, okay. So all you have to do is you just have to read this highlighted part for the features of the bill, okay. So that would be hardly a 1 or 2 minutes read. You can do that at your home. Now let's have a look at the question for your prelims practice. You have to answer this in the comment box. Which objective is associated with the Sustainable Development Goal 8.7? We have discussed it, okay. Options are achieve universal access to basic services such as water, sanitation and hygiene by 2030, ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunity by 2030, eradicate forced labor and end modern slavery, human trafficking and child labor by 2025, develop sustainable cities and communities with respect to with responsible consumption and production pattern by 2030, okay. So now if you don't have any idea about that what is 8.7 specifically saying, that if you have idea just that what goal 8 says, okay, you can answer this question. Okay, so ultimately you can go and have a look at all the 17 sustainable development goal that would be important for your exam. Okay, so answer this in the comment box. Now practice question for your mains would be: discuss the significance and the potential impact of the India's recent criminal law bills on the country's legal landscape. Okay, we have discussed all the bills, all the changes which has been mentioned in the bills in today's lecture. So you can easily write this answer. So that would be your homework. So with that, I'll wrap up the session. I'll see you in the next episode. Till then, have a good day. Thank you.